I took a site's value from $1.75 million to $3 million just by rezoning it. I didn't do anything to the land. In fact, I didn't even own it yet. I was still under contract and I was able to create over $1 million of value out of thin air. And I'm about to walk you through the exact 5-step process that I used. I'm Evan Holiday and I've developed over 2,300 units, totaling over $500 million of multifamily housing development. And I've coached dozens of others in doing their first development. Real quick, just so we're both on the same page. Zoning is what your city will allow you to build on your site or your piece of land. So think single family, multifamily, commercial, industrial, or even like agricultural. You can look this up in just 2 clicks. You search your city, whatever it is, zoning map or zoning table, and then put in your address for your site. If what you want to build is not allowed for the current zoning restrictions, that's when rezoning comes into play. Now onto the 5 steps. Step number 1 is to get a preliminary site plan. This is basically a very rough plan of what you plan to build once you get your rezoning in place. And when I mean rough, I really mean rough. Like I literally hired an architect off of Fiverr for $180 to draw this one up. And just with this draft, this first preliminary site plan, I was able to get the community support and the council member support that I needed to get the ball rolling towards what would ultimately become a $100 million development. Now, this is obviously not something you're going to actually use for construction, but this is going to get the ball rolling towards gaining buy-in and support and showing what your vision is for this site plan and for your future development, which is crucial for your rezoning. And once they are on board with your vision, then you can invest in the architect and engineer the real plans. Step 2 is to meet with your council member. The rezoning process is done through the city and the city is run by the city council. These council members are usually the gatekeepers for any rezoning, and they are the elected official that decides what goes or does not go in terms of inside of their district. First thing, figure out who your council member actually is. The easiest way, Google. Just type into Google, who is my council member for this address? Or you can hop on the city's website. The city website should have their name, their email address, their phone number, or any other contact information. Now, before you reach out, take at least 5 minutes to learn a little bit more about them. What are their interests? What are their goals for their district? They usually have a campaign website where they talk about their main priorities and look into what projects they've backed before. You don't need to do a complete deep dive, but you need to know enough so you're not walking in blind. And if you don't have a mutual connection, that's fine. Just send a cold email. Seriously, I've done it myself. I do it all the time when we're working on new projects. It really does work. And I would add that council members will meet with you as long as you make the ask and you are genuine in your ask. And if you want another angle, I would recommend reaching out to any sort of community organizations or nonprofits that are active in their district, or maybe you have a mutual connection through those nonprofits. They almost always have direct connections to the council member or community leaders or city leaders and can help make that connection. And when you first sit down with your council member, don't make the mistake of just making it all about your project and diving right in. Start by asking them the questions. What do you want to see in your community? What is important to their constituents in their district? If they ask about your ideas, you can share your site plan, but you have to make sure you frame it as preliminary. Like, hey, this is a first draft, and I'd love your input and advice or feedback that you have here on how we could make the absolute best development here that can incorporate the ideas and the goals of the greater community, or anything that you think the community will want to see here. Something along those lines. Get their buy-in and incorporate their feedback and make them feel like they're a part of this design process. The more buy-in you get in terms of them feeling like they're owning the process, they're part of maybe the naming or the design or the layout or some of the amenities or even some of the uses, that is where you get real buy-in and real support from the council member. And once they are on board, the whole rest of the process will go a lot easier. Step number 3 is getting planning staff on board. Once your council member is on board, then you take the same exact approach to meeting with planning staff for the city. And just to be clear, planning staff and planning commission are 2 separate things. Planning staff are city employees. They're the ones who are going to be handling all of the technical side of your rezoning. These are the planners, the engineers, the traffic study people. They're the ones inside of Metro that will review your plans. The planning commission is a board of appointed officials who basically make recommendations on rezonings that will then go to city council. At this point, you are just talking to the planning staff to get their initial feedback on your site plan and your proposed development. You're not seeking approval yet because you don't want to be submitting anything to planning commission before you do your community meeting. That's because anything you submit to planning commission can and will be public record and will likely be publicly broadcast. So you absolutely do not want to do that until you've talked to your community. You want anything outward facing about your project relating to the community to come from you first, not from a public notice. And I would add to ask your council member if they can either put in a good word or let planning staff know that you have been in communication and they are supportive of this project. The planning staff and the council member will talk. So make sure you are absolutely using the same exact messaging about the project, that is preliminary, that this is just a proposed idea for what we have, and you really want their input on this. Planning staff are the ones who recommend approval or denial of the rezoning to the planning commission. So it's important that you get their buy-in too. And usually within any city, there's a zoning map or a planning document that basically describes what the city wants for the future direction of certain corridors or certain areas. So you can work alongside your civil engineer to make sure that whatever rezoning you are shooting to get ties in directly with what planning has already said that they want in terms of zoning or future uses on those corridors. And here's a little tip: bringing donuts or bagels to the planning office actually works. Believe me, I've done it myself multiple times, and they definitely remember your name after that. Now it's time for step 4, holding your community meeting. So what is that? It's basically a public meeting in which anyone that lives around the project can come out and ask questions about the project, give feedback, or generally just learn more about what's proposed. It's usually organized by your council member, and it is one of the most important steps in this whole process. Why should you have one? Because the community will find out about your rezoning, whether you do a meeting or not. And trust me, you do not want them finding out from a piece of mail or some other public notice that is not you telling them. If you're the one sharing it with them first, and you're standing up and you're being transparent and you're answering their questions, that is what builds the trust with the community. Now, you may be having nightmares of pitchforks and protests, but trust me, this meeting doesn't have to be all that daunting. It all comes down to being prepared. Work with your council member to organize this meeting. Let them take the lead on publicizing it and running it. The biggest concerns you'll face are about traffic, water and sewer impacts, potentially school impacts, and unfortunately, if you're working on affordable housing, there's always the negative stigma that communities sometimes have around affordable housing. That's why we talk about attainable housing, workforce housing, or even mixed income housing instead of affordable housing. Same thing, but it doesn't trigger a lot of the negative reactions or negative stigmas that people have. And address the community's concerns head on. Show them that you've thought about traffic patterns and the impact on that, infrastructure impacts, and each angle that they could potentially ask questions or propose as potential problems based on your development, that you've already thought of the solution. And show them inspirations for design so they know that you're not building the projects next to their house, or that you're not building this ugly building right next to their home. You're building really top quality, top level stuff. And if you can, show how rezoning this property is going to directly benefit them. So here's an example from one of our developments. We were able to basically include some retail and commercial options, which is what the community wanted in that area. They were lacking restaurants or a bar to get a beer, or a coffee shop to get a coffee, or some place to meet up with friends and family. And so we were able to include that in our development on a major transit corridor and where it was already being redeveloped, and allow for less density on the back of our site, closer to where a lot of the single family neighbors were living. And by that point, they were unanimously in favor of the development because they wanted those retail options. Trust me, if you avoid talking to the community, you are going to regret it. The community can be your biggest ally or your biggest foe when it comes to rezoning. So make sure you strengthen those relationships with transparency and thoughtful answers to their concerns. Real quick, if you're finding this video helpful, hit the like and subscribe button. It helps other people who are learning about development find this video. Now, step number 5, navigating the formal process. You might be thinking, hey, Evan, we're just now getting to the formal process on step 5. This feels like a lot of work, but I promise you that by completing steps 1 through 4, your rate of success will go up significantly as compared to if you just submitted a rezoning application and just hoped and prayed for the best. The hard work up front is absolutely worth it. Okay, now for the official stuff. So you will take your rezoning application, you'll work with your civil engineer to fill all that out. They will know how to do all this because they've done it many times before. Turn that into the planning staff. Now, this can vary city by city, so check to make sure that is exactly who you need to be turning the application into. But again, you can check with your civil engineer. They will know how to do all of this process. Then you go through planning commission. These are the appointed officials who oversee development in the community. If planning staff supports you and you have community buy-in, then this process should go smoothly. Once you have planning commission approval, then your rezoning proposal will go on to city council. This puts the proposal in front of the entire city council for them to vote on. In Nashville, this goes through 3 separate council hearings. Now, the second one, in our case in Nashville, is the most important one because that is the public hearing. This is when the public, or your neighbors around the development can come out either for or against the development. And you, as the sponsor of this development, should always be prepared to talk throughout this process about the positives of your development and each step of the way in which you gained community support and buy-in, and you included and engaged the community in the process. After the city council approves, then it goes on to the mayor's office for his final signature. Once you get the mayor's signature, then you are officially rezoned. But here's the thing, every city does this process differently. Some have one council meeting, some have 3, some require additional hearings. This is why building relationships with your local team, like your architect, your engineer, your planning staff, are so important. They know the local process inside and out, and they can help guide you through this process. Rezoning takes time, it takes patience, and it takes relationships. But when you do it right, you're creating significant value for your development and creating something that benefits the entire community. If you want more step-by-step processes like this for affordable housing development, then check out our Affordable Development Mastery Coaching Program. I'll put a link in the description below. That's where I teach developers just like you my step-by-step process on how to structure deals, find the right partners, and close on your first affordable housing development using the exact same tools that my team does. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.